am Pascal from Orangepixel and welcome to another video. This video we're going to talk about Regulated City, the main project I'm working on, but we have so many new subscribers, hi, that a lot of you probably haven't heard about the game or seen much about the game unless you watched all the old videos back, because I haven't talked about the project for quite some time actually. That doesn't mean I haven't been working on it. I've been working on it a lot. And of course I also have my other project, Content of Power, talked about that one 2 weeks ago, so that's 2 videos back. Make sure to check that one out. Today I'm going to talk about Regulated City. Where are we with the game right now? What is the game about? Just a little refresher. Also, am I in serious trouble for working on this game for so long? After the intro, I'm going to talk about all that and explain all of that, because on this channel I usually mention that you should work on games and finish them as quickly as possible. And then here we have Regulated City. Started working on it in 2021 after releasing Residual. It's now 2023, it's still not done. What's up with that? I'll explain. Okay, so there are a couple of reasons why Regulated City is still in development and why it took so long. Let me first handle those and then we'll get into the talk about why it's not extremely bad. I'm still working on the game. So first of all, main problem for this, my original concept for the game was just a little image created in GIMP where you had a squad, a team that was taking out bad guys in a hallway or in an apartment building. And my idea for that was that you actually control the leader and you have a team surrounding you that operates as one, as part of you, as an extension of you, pretty much inspired by TV shows like SWAT or SEAL Team. And of course there are a lot of movies that have this team-based squad stuff going on. I didn't want you to control them, I wanted them to move alongside you and understand your intentions and help you out where necessary. And that required a lot of AI work and figure out how this team would be able to move around a building, not knowing the building, not having set markers, but based on the situation, know where to move, where is it safe, where can we hide, where should we be attacking now, where should we be moving towards. Programming that, I had no idea where to start, so that took way too long to figure out and get it up and running. And now I have a very clear understanding of how to actually create stuff like that. So for the next couple of games that I hopefully will also be using this, or in some sort of future game, if I'm using this again, I'll get it up and running a lot faster. It's really not that difficult once you know how to set it up, and I'll do a proper tech video on that eventually, but for now it's good to know that I got it up and running and it all works, and it just took way too long. So a second problem pretty much showed its face once this game, or once the AI was up and running. I didn't really have a clear focus how to handle the flow of the game. City map, okay, start a mission, but how do we get into those missions? How do those missions operate? What's the flow through those missions? What do you do in those missions? Identity crisis for a game, pretty much. And usually this is the stuff that you should get up and running as soon as possible. And of course I first had to get all this AI up and running. Without that, this game wasn't what it's supposed to be. My whole intention for this game was a squad-based game. Without a squad, you just have a single guy shooting around, and that's the top-down shooter, and there are a lot of those type of games. I wanted to create something a little bit different. Once the AI was up and running, I had no clue what to do with it. I had no idea how to structure the missions, how to structure the gameplay. Do we get upgrades? Do we get weapons? Do we give weapons to our squad members? There were just so many things and problems that I really haven't figured out or written down on paper. And normally if you create a game like another game, you can look at those games and think, I'll borrow those ideas and those from that game in the same genre, and then you mix something up into a new game. But I'm trying to create something a little different. And that might have been my second mistake on this game. The first one being the AI, not knowing how to create it, and now not knowing what to do with it. I think for a large portion of game development, those two problems kept showing up every time. Every now and then I would change stuff and I would create stuff, and the game was looking to go into the right direction or development, but then I would still stumble onto borders or just walls that kept me from progressing. I just had no idea what to do with this game that I was creating. I think only like 6 months ago I really figured out what to do with it, but that was already 1.5 years into development. Way too late, and it shouldn't have happened. And honestly, that's not the way to go about all this. And I warn everybody on this channel every time about it. Make sure you get the core game mechanics up and running as soon as possible, and don't try to do as many new things when you're creating a game. Try to do just 1, maybe 2 new things that you can quickly learn, understand and implement, and not do a bunch of different things that you have no idea how to do them, because you'll pretty much run into walls like I did. So the third problem I had with this game, I guess it's another, or again, an identity crisis for the game. Is it an action game or is it a stealth game? If you see these TV shows like SWAT, SEAL Team, there's a lot of action, but there's also stealthy operations where they're moving around, sneaking around, placing explosives, taking out enemies quietly. And that's pretty cool to see and watch. So I wanted that, but then there is the other moments. Well, the enemy sees you, it's pretty much done with sneaking. Shoot everything that moves and isn't part of your team. I wanted that as well, and I wanted to mix these things into one. I'm not sure if there are games out there that have those things mixed, especially single player games, but I couldn't get it working. Focusing on stealth means there's a lot of different items and gadgets you want and you need, and not so much guns and ammo. But if it's an action game, you want a lot of weapons, and the biggest weapon you can get with the most ammo you can get. And if you have that and can just shoot everything in a building, are you still gonna be sneaking around? Does it make sense? Marrying those two components into one game, I tried it for way too long. I should have given up much sooner, but then pressure from the outside, and I guess that's the downside of showing a game to people so early, or a demo. Certain people wanted more stealth, other people really love the action, and you get a lot of people giving you feedback and ideas and suggestions on add more like this and add more like that, and it doesn't work, honestly. So that's the downside of showing a game early, I guess, but I also should have just made the decision for myself a lot earlier and say, well, this is not gonna work. I want to create an arcade action game. That's what I'm good at. Let's focus on that. If there is stealth possible in the game here and there, that's great. We're gonna have it. We're gonna give that option to the player, but it's gonna be probably a lot easier just to shoot your way out of things. Over time and in the recent couple of weeks, I have been changing and tweaking things here and there for stealth. So we do have a lot more stealthy operations here and there. So for example, you can now turn off the lights in a room, and if there are enemies nearby, they will be suddenly confused about, well, the lights are suddenly off, what's going on. While they are confused, you can sneak up on them and you can take them out from behind without ever shooting your gun. It's a great option, especially if you're low on health, because this way you're gonna be undetected as long as possible. Enemies won't notice you, won't be shooting at you. So it is the best way in certain situations. Of course, if you're in a hurry, in a rush, and you have health enough and you have weapons enough, just run in and shoot them. And your squad is actually following your actions. So if you take out the melee weapon, they will stay behind a little bit and give you room to operate and sneak. And they will also help you sneak. For example, if you throw a flashbang, enemies are stunned, your squad will actually move out to these stunned enemies and slip there and put them and give them a nice comfy sleep. Yeah. And of course, if you're just going in guns blazing, they will be alongside you guns blazing. So all of that is actually working, but the focus is just going to be an action game. So if you just want a pure stealthy game, this is probably not going to be it. You might enjoy it, not sure, depends on how much stealth you want. There's not going to be a huge amount of inventory and items and stuff you can unlock for stealthy things, or doing those type of things. It's still action based. There's going to be more weapons than there are stealthy items, I guess. But I'm very happy that I actually solved this identity crisis and picked a direction that I want to push this game into. And that has been the biggest problem during development of this game. And that's why it's been taking so long. But luckily, there was also some good news earlier this year for Regulated City. So let's talk about that one. Okay, so what happened earlier this year is pretty cool. I figured that this game was taking too long to develop. And I had a serious problem. So I needed funding either from a publisher, a Kickstarter, or a funding investment partner thingy. I talked about this in earlier videos like months ago, but for those that are new to the channel, hi. I pretty much ended up with Mid-Game Fund, which is a Dutch investment for game developers created or built up from other game developers in the industry. And they pretty quickly said yes to the game and the funding request and everything around it. And luckily that allowed me to figure out all these things I just mentioned. The stealthy stuff, the what is this game about and how should the flow of the game be. All those things required a lot of extra time. And having that investment allowed me to figure those things out. So I'm very happy for that. And if the investment hadn't worked out, I would have probably done a Kickstarter by now, or actually maybe released the game whatever state it was and moved on to the next game. It would have been a failure, probably, pretty sure, financially. But I luckily didn't have to do that, and I could still build the game, and I still now have time and money to build this game and work on it, and also focus on the marketing for it. So that's why I keep pushing demos out there. There's now a new demo. This demo is good enough, in my opinion, to actually now start poking a couple of streamers here and there, smaller ones, but just to see how they play the game and maybe how they can inspire other people to wishlist the game and try out the demo, stuff like that. So I'm now going to slowly start doing those things, and I don't plan to release this game in the next few months. It's probably going to be released in 2024, early 2024 on PC first, and then we'll work on the Switch version. An Atari version is coming. Eventually, probably a year later, there will be a mobile version, as we also try to do Xbox and PlayStation, although that's still something that hasn't happened to any of my games, but we're working on it and we're figuring things out. Just a slow process. I'm working on all these games. Serious Lion, my porting partner, check the Discord where he is usually idling. He also has a lot of other projects going on, so in between all those things we are trying to figure out how to get my Orangepixel games onto PlayStation and Xbox, and hopefully we'll get that up and running also for Regulated City. But for now, I'm just gonna be tinkering on the game, keep tinkering on it. The status currently is it's very playable. I very much like where it's going. I changed a lot of stuff in the recent weeks or recent months since the last demo, but I'll get into those things in next week's video because there's so much to talk about. In the meantime, you can check out the game as I mentioned just now. Check the description below. There's a link to the Steam page and there's a demo there. It's freely available. It's just a couple of missions. It's just a tiny part of the game, but it gives you a good impression of what this game is going to be. So check out that one, as I'll keep working on the game and start doing some marketing here and there. And I think I'm gonna end this video here. Just go check out Regulated City, drop on the Discord, come hang out and chat. I often show stuff there, and even for this demo there have been new things and tweaks, and every now and then I just work on something and show it on the Discord, and all that feedback that's coming is often listened to, or always listened to, and sometimes implemented, depending on how well the feedback is and if I actually like it. So, but a lot of the feedback on the Discord makes it into my game. So if you want to just be there and see it all happen, drop on the Discord. And if you have questions about anything I just talked about, drop them in the comments below, or come hang out on Discord, or do both. And I will see you next week in another video, probably talking about Regulated City and all the big changes I made, because there have been a couple of big changes to the game. But you can find that out if you just go play the demo now. Alright. Bye.